Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
Stuart, good to chat with you again. If we can start with team news-wise, how are you on the bodies front going into tomorrow's game?
Just exactly the same. I think we'll be like that for a while. Good news, obviously, everyone's available from Saturday, but the four lads are still out and will be for the short-term future anyway.
Can you at all put a timescale on any four of those at the moment, or is it still a little bit too early to be able to say?
Yeah, I think Lee Novak will be the longest. It might run into a month, maybe, but it's hard to. His grade was the worst grade when he got it scanned. Zelly's back running, but that'll be another 7 to 10 days. Evo, I think, had a little bit of a setback on Thursday or Friday because we were hoping he was going to be available for Barrow, but he felt a little pain in his hamstring. Nothing major, but just sets him back for another probably week. And Curtis is probably a week to 2 weeks. So all about that, obviously, and Levi suspended. So he's the only one that misses out. But the rest of the lads came through Saturday unscathed.
How big a miss are those for you, Stuart? Attacking options when at the moment you're struggling to find the back of the net at the moment?
Yeah, I think, a couple of real key players for us. I think if you look at it, as you said, Lee Novak, will have claims to be our top scorer at the end of the season. I'm sure he'll want to get his name onto that. But Gareth Evans, obviously, he's not been in attacking midfielder, Curtis, the striker. And Zelly, it'd be nice to have Zelly to come off the bench for half an hour, with his individual ability, which, we know he possesses. But since pre-season, we've not been able to see it, unfortunately. So, yeah, we know creativity-wise and being clinical, we've not done that of late. But as you said, the four people that are out injured at the minute are sort of attacking stroke creative players.
Does that then mean you have to maybe put more responsibility and work more with the players available to you to try and push them forward and give them that confidence, shall we say, to go forward and get themselves? I think about Callum Cook when I talk about players like that.
Yeah, of course. I'm speaking to Cookie today. He could be on 3 or 4 goals. Pritch could have had a hat-trick at Mansfield alone when you look at his 3 chances he's had to be in the box. But I also look back at the games that we've conceded. I think Walsall at home, it was their left back scored. Saturday, it was their left wing back that scored. Harrogate, it was their sitting midfielder that scored against us. So goals for us has got to come throughout the team. We can't just rely on the strikers. We've got to be chipping in from, obviously Woody scored at Mansfield and Pritch got a goal at Bolton off the top of my head. Elliott scored with a free kick. But we need to be chipping in from all over the pitch, really.
It's a growing narrative at the moment around the side, the lack of goals. Does that then put more pressure on the players that you do have fit and available, and does it weigh down on them somewhat, do you feel?
We don't want it to weigh down on. We've got to take the pressure off them. I think there's a few things. Listen, we know we've had a really poor week. There's no denying that. Naturally, played 3, lost 3, not scored a goal. But like we've had a bad week, we've got to make sure now and aim for a good week. We can't change what the points that we've lost or the performances that we've put in. But we've got to be mindful that when we go out, certainly tomorrow night and thereafter, that we are positive in his mindset, which we will be, and look to go and score goals as much as we can. I think the key, when I look at the 13 games we've had this season, there's only 3 times we've been ahead in the games, which is obviously less than 25% naturally. And they were, away at Mansfield, which we won, away at Bolton, we won, and at home. So we've only been, as I said, in the lead 3 times. Oh, sorry, the other one was away at Forest Green, where we, go down to 9 men and lose a goal at 96 minutes. We've had 7 home games and not scored first in any of them. So I think that's a main thing we need to sort of change and rectify. Trying to go ahead first in games makes, the balance of the game different naturally. We're not having to chase games and leave ourselves open. We need to be able to control games like we did at Mansfield when we scored the first goal. So that's a key component which we need to change without a doubt. But we know, we're well aware we need to be more creative and certainly more clinical.
Is that a psychological hurdle that you maybe need to overcome? We talk a lot about ability, we talk a lot about fitness, we talk a lot about commitment as well, but sometimes it can lie within the mental state of a player.
Yeah, the longer it goes on, it's like if you've not won away from home, the longer that run goes, or different runs that you have in football. But we look back at the recent 3 games. You know, last week, obviously, we got beat against a good side who are top of the league at the moment, Newport, but we lose a goal in 15 seconds. Tuesday night at Bolton, you know, it's a poor error. They don't have to work hard for it. It's a poor mistake by us, which gives them a goal, you know, in the first 20 minutes. And Saturday, you know, I can't really pinpoint it was an error individually, but the lads sort of hit a decent shot into the bottom corner and we've gone a goal behind again. So we're mindful of that. But, you know, it's easy to talk about it. We've got to go out and change things and make it right.
How do you then, with all that in mind, view tomorrow night's game, playing bottom of the table, Southend? Anyone looking at the table would say, oh, it's an easy opportunity for you. But I imagine as a manager, you don't want to become too complacent about looking at the league table so early on.
No, exactly. We're treating this game as if it's Salford or Southend. It doesn't matter. We'll be treating it exactly the same manner. We've got a way that we want to go and play. I'm confident in the players, you know, that we're putting out on the park tomorrow, that we can go not only hurt Southend, but any team that we will be playing. And we've got to believe in that and take a degree of confidence. Saturday wasn't a football game. We knew with the elements how the game would sort of be played as a football game, if you like. I think they had one good move in the first half, which culminated in Richard making a good save, and then they won a corner from it, and then they had a breakaway second half. But other than that, it wasn't a great deal of football. I think that was up and down the country when I watched a lot of the games back. Bolton, you know, there's no doubt, second half we were dominant, and we've got to look to be that. We've got to be good in possession of the ball, but then be creative when we go forward.
How do you view Southend as opponents, Stuart?
It's hard when you're losing games. If you know, they're losing by the odd goal at times, and they lost a late goal last week. Just watched the game against Oldham, they lost at home 2-1. Saturday they were up against a strong Port Vale side, but I'm not looking too much into them at all. We're fully focused on how we want to go about the game, and how we want to play it. But you know, I say we've got to be mindful that we want to. You know, get ahead in the game so we can control it a little bit more. But you know, they've got some individual talent there. So there's, you know, the lads know whatever team we play against, you know, you give them full respect, but you go and do your best you can be, and that's what we've got aim to do tomorrow.
I realise it's very, very early on in the season still, but given the current form that you're in, and given the current context of the League Two table, is it a must-win game tomorrow for you as a side?
I think if we want to get back on track and obviously climb the table, it's a game we've got to be looking to win naturally. You don't, no manager or coach will put a must-win tag on anything, but I'd certainly take your point, and I would certainly understand that. You know, the supporters will look at it like that naturally, yeah, and so should we. So should we. We've got to start, as you said. We've had a poor week. We've got to make sure we flip it now and have a good week, and then build on that. It's, you know, I've got a desire and determination to be here, and to be successful in a long-term capacity. Now, we've got to start getting results naturally. I'm not stupid. But, you know, it is early on in the season. There has been certain little things we can point to that's not been good enough. But there's also been certain little things that have gone maybe against us, and we should have more points on the board. So the league table at the moment, although it's not good, 100% it's not, and we want to do far better, it's not a situation where we're miles away and out of it. Just like we've had 3 defeats on the bounce, I think, as I said on Saturday, there's no reason why we can't go and put 3 wins on the bounce in the coming weeks and coming months.
Just finally, Stuart, just away from matters on the pitch, we learned later on Saturday evening, after the national lockdown had been announced, that football would continue during what was going to be another difficult period for many supporters and fans. Just how important is it, do you feel, as someone who's been affiliated with the game for so long, that football does continue in what is going to be another difficult period for the people of Bradford?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think it is important. It's important for us to carry on, and that, obviously for the supporters, we know what everyone in the country is going through, and you look to your football team to raise spirits. We've not done that of late. So we've got to we're mindful of that we want to start putting smiles back on people's faces who are watching the game and who are frustrated and angry with life in general at the moment. But adding to that is the poor results we've been getting of late. So we look to change that. I still, watched a couple of games yesterday. Watching Old Trafford with nobody in it. It's we want to keep the football going. But it shows you how things quickly can change. It was only last month we were looking at getting fans back in the ground and maybe then getting, 20% back in or 30%. You look abroad, Germany were getting people in, but they've had to close down. So it's a trying situation, not only at the football club, but obviously, in general life for everyone with a close down and shut down. But for talking about us personally as a football club, we've got to make sure we go out and put in performances that can, at least give a little bit of light to the supporters that are watching.
Do you think, just on that point, actually, Stuart, very quickly, do you think actually then there's a greater role and responsibility on your shoulders? You'll always go out there to represent the football club and put smiles on the fans' faces, but given just how difficult the climate is of life in general right now, is there a greater role and responsibility of you as a football club to represent and also bring the smile on people's faces?
Yes, I think so. I definitely think so. It's something we're aiming to do. I understand the frustrations, anger, disappointment of recent results naturally, but it's going to be a long-term project that we want to build and be successful in. And I genuinely believe we will be successful and get this club back to climbing certainly this table, but then looking higher. But we need to get a foothold, start turning these performances or these results into wins, and make things look a little healthier. But yeah, it's in anything, isn't it? You hang on to something, when we're going through, there's lots of people going through different things in life at the moment. And certainly sport and football in general can give people a lift, and that's what we've got to try to do.
Stuart, thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Cheers, thank you.
Just following up from that point about the lockdown, we heard on Sunday, I think it was, that there was a possibility that you might not be able to play the FA Cup tie on Saturday because non-league sides might not be allowed to play. Have you heard any more on that yet?
I haven't, Pete, to be honest. I've not. Did get a mention yesterday, but I don't know. I'm sure it'll go ahead. Well, I say I'm sure. I would imagine, having spoke to Mark today, there's been no mention of it. So I've not heard any discussions over that. So I would imagine it will go ahead.
And returning to last Saturday, I think that was your 4th red card so far in the season. Is that something you've spoken to the players about, their discipline?
Yeah, we'll be reiterating it again tomorrow. There's nobody is more distraught than Levi Sutton on Saturday over the weekend and today. He's had a few private personal issues over the last week, which has been tough for the kid. But he came in on Saturday. I asked him to get about the game, get tackles in. When I watched the tackle back, there's no doubt in this climate it's a red card. I've no arguments with that. In my day, it would have been a strong, robust challenge that wins the ball. His feet stay on the ground level with the ball. But I'm not complaining about it. It's a red card. There's no doubt about that. Reckless, you could say. But as I said, to answer your question, the lads are well aware of the discipline. I was saying to the staff today, if it's something that goes and elbows somebody in the face or spits on somebody or kicks somebody or deliberately tries to do somebody, then there's no excuses. I'm asking Levi to go get some tackles in that midfield. He's gone and won the ball, but obviously the reckless nature he did it in merited a red card. So as much as I've spoke to him about it and the rest of the players, we've got to be mindful it is a contact sport as well. So, it's to answer your question, they are aware of the discipline that needs to be shown. And
on the issue of giving away soft goals and maybe not scoring as many as you should do you think there's a danger that the players start trying too hard and then the errors start escalating?
Well, yeah, I think, as we reiterated again today, just because everyone's desperate for this win and because, you're looking at a team that are currently, at the bottom of the table, don't put that any more pressure on the players. Let them go out and play a relaxed game in front of goal, certainly. I want to play with composure tomorrow and quality. I think the team we're putting out tomorrow will have that. And then, yeah, don't be trying too hard. Don't be thinking where every time you get the ball, you've got to score. You've got to do something if you're a striker, or just, make sure when the chances come along, be as clean as you can. We've done a lot of finishing again today. It doesn't replicate a match day situation, but the more you practice, hopefully the better you get.
Cheers, Stuart. Good luck tomorrow.
Stuart, just from me, the team now. Obviously, one thing I've picked up, is Reece has been getting quite a few games restarting. Finkles and Dawson played on Saturday, and obviously I know it's kind of part force your hand with sort of injuries and players missing. But are you excited to be giving youth a chance and hoping that can continue as the season goes on?
Yeah, I think obviously a couple of lads on Saturday weren't our players, the lone lads, young boys, but we've got Elliot there who's 20, the two lads who played on Saturday, 18. Another one of the young boys will be on the bench again tomorrow, a different one. Yeah, I mean, listen, for me, age is irrelevant. You can be, hungry at 38 as you can be at 18, but the lads who've been getting game time have merited where they've trained and where they've played in games this season.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City!